Hello and welcome to the Oakland A's UK live stream on what is now going to be referred to as Crush Day. Yes, KD is back in their green and gold, and it is a day of celebration, a day for all A's fans to rejoice wherever you are in the world. I am Matt. Welcome to the live stream. As always, if you are watching live, do get in contact via the comments either on YouTube, via the YouTube chat, or on Twitter. Go into the Periscope thingy and click in there and you can leave comments, and I will do my best to have a keep an eye on what's going on and to answer any queries and comments, because it is certainly a big day for the A's. This is a move that has been rumored for a little while. Khrush has been crushing in Las Vegas with the Aviators, and now he is up. We didn't dare dream, some of us, that this might happen, but it is now come about, and KD is back with the team. By all accounts, he is on his way to Detroit. Apparently, may not be there quite in time for the game, but he is on his way and will be with the team today. So it is happening. This is not a drill. It is happening. KD Khrush is back in their green and gold. Now, I know I'm excited about it. I have been a bit, I don't know what's the best way to put it. I've been a little bit reluctant to go overboard on it and to get too excited, and I'll go into the details on that in a moment, but let's not worry about that for now. KD is back. So here we go, Matthew. Happy to see KD back. I feel like he'll help with team chemistry and hopefully he can hit some home runs too. Yeah, I think that's a very important point, because we've already seen Tony Kemp has posted on Twitter about it. Chris Bassett has posted on Twitter about it. We know how beloved a character KD was in that clubhouse. Matt Chapman has been speaking recently about how he played a role in KD coming back. He was very keen and encouraging of KD to get in contact with the A's front office to see if there'd be an opportunity to try and just get back with the team. And he took them up on that opportunity and has really grabbed it with both hands. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a big boost for the team. Great to have KD back, and big boost for us all. You know, we're just coming into September 1st. It's always difficult at this time of year. They like to refer to it as the dog days of September, don't they? And yeah, players are getting tired. I think you're seeing that a little bit with some of the players, but this will be a big boost. After yesterday's win, another great big boost for the team to have KD back. So how did it all come about? Well, yesterday, the A's announced that there were 5 players on essentially the taxi squad. So when they go on a road trip, they have to nominate various players who will go with the team, just in case they need someone because of COVID or whatever. And the 5 players named there were Sky Bolt, Austin Allen on the position player side, Sam Ball, Adam Kolarek, and Grant Holmes as the 3 pitchers. So with rosters expanding today from 26 to 28, it was widely believed that 2 of those would go onto the roster today. The other 3 would be the taxi squad, which would be in Detroit, and also move on to Toronto over the weekend. So that was the plan, and that kind of put the mockers on potentially KD coming up at this point in time, because it looked like if he was going to come up, he would have been out there with the team in Detroit as part of those 5 players who had come up. But it all changed when Mitch Moreland had to go onto the injured list. And I think that factors in a couple of ways. First and foremost, that created a space. So Skybolt immediately came onto the roster, which meant that there was another space to be taken. But secondly, Mitch Moreland, although he has played a bit of first base, he's mainly been a designated hitter. And that was always going to be a slight roster crunch in where KD would fit in as someone who, let's be honest, is limited to be in a DH. So with Mitch Moreland going on the injured list, that created the opportunity, I think, for KD to come up. I may be wrong, but I don't think KD would have come up straight away had Mitch Moreland not gone on the injured list. But Mitch went down, KD is up. And hello, French A's, good to have you on as always. Yes, fantastic news. I know I was speaking yesterday, we were tweeting about it yesterday. My hesitancy about it all comes from my love for KD and how tough it was for all of us A's fans to see him struggling so much over the past year or so. And I was wary that fans would be in a clamour to get him back into the team, but then he would be the first one to get a load of grief when he went 0 for 4 in a couple of games. And I didn't want to see that happening to KD again. But hopefully it all goes well. His confidence must be sky high. He is hitting well. He is hitting the bejesus out of the ball with the Las Vegas Aviators, and we hope he can continue doing that with the A's. Let's have a look actually at the figures and why KD is back with the team. Here they are. So KD in Vegas, he has played 16 games, 63 at-bats, got 21 hits, 10 home runs. He is just smacking it all over the shop, and 58 total bases. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more from a guy. Talk about taking an opportunity and forcing a front officer's hands. You know, when you look at those numbers, you look at how he's been playing, why wouldn't you bring him up in that sense? You know, his personal performances have absolutely earned a spot on this roster. And the question was always, where would he fit as a designated hitter? But as I mentioned, with Mitch Moreland going down, that created the space for him to come up and hopefully be a part of the roster for over the rest of the season, really. There is already talk that he may mainly play against left-handed pitchers. And I think that's going to be the thing coming down the stretch, that you're going to be a bit, what we'd say, horses for courses, in terms of really trying to give some players, some regular players who've been playing regularly all season long, a bit of rest here and there, but also then trying to factor in the matchups depending on the starting pitcher. So I think KD will get regular at-bats, but mainly against left-handed pitchers, I suspect. But we will see. What do you think? How do you think KD should be used? I do think it will be important that KD gets regular at-bats. I think if he's just occasionally getting a pinch hit appearance or occasionally getting a chance to start a game, that's not really giving him much of a shot at keeping up a rhythm at the plate and really getting in a groove. So hopefully he gets some regular at-bats. In terms of KD, I mean, the issue for him really was that when you go back to his prime with the A's, which was such a glorious time for us all, he particularly was able to dominate against fastballs and cutters and sinkers, and that pretty much disappeared after the injury at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, where he injured his hip. So that is going to be the question with KD. The recent splurge of home runs in AAA, fantastic to see, and he couldn't have done any more. But does that necessarily mean he's now got the bat again to take on the heaters in Major League Baseball? And we will only see. You know, he's deserved his chance. He's now got his chance. Let's hope he takes it. But yeah, that's the question mark against him. Can he turn around on a fastball right now? And fingers crossed he can, because it's such a glorious sight seeing KD smacking the ball all over the place. Oh, can't you just imagine that first rounding of third base and the salute? Oh, here's hoping. Hey, here's hoping. We've got to be confident. We've got to be optimistic, I think. But yeah, let's not put too much expectation on him to be the September savior and going 3 for 4 every game with a home run every night. That's clearly not going to happen. It didn't happen when he was in his prime. He had plenty of 0 for 4 games with 3 strikeouts. So let's not put too much pressure on him. But whatever he can bring us is going to be a real positive, with his positive character and his personality and the impact he can have on a clubhouse. Sticking a few home runs over the fence, and that will do for me quite nicely. Thank you. Few things about him. So he is eligible to be on the playoff roster. So that was something that's actually changed recently. So you have the 1st of September cutoff. And in the past, you had to be on a 40-man roster at that point to be eligible for the playoffs. That's now not the case. You just have to be within the organization. So you can't change your team, change to another major league setup after that date and still be eligible for the postseason with that team. But so long as you're in the organization, as KD was with the AAA team, then you are eligible for the playoffs. So KD, if he gets on a crush run, as we all know he can do, he would be eligible for the playoffs. If we make the playoffs, no foregone conclusion, but we've got to be optimistic. Big win yesterday against Detroit. Boston are falling apart with COVID. Sounds like an absolute COVID mess going on with the Red Sox right now. So there's a definite opportunity for us to take advantage, to get some wins back and to claim at the very least that second wild card. And wouldn't that be great? KD coming back, smacking a home run at Yankee Stadium to beat the Bronx Bombers. Oh, come on. That'll do for me. In terms of his number, so that was the main thing that obviously many people were thinking about. And as I put on here, there you go. Number 11, so KD can't be 2 because Starling Marte has that. So he's got 1 + 1 = 2. So 1 and 1 as in 11. So that is KD's number. So that's what he's going to be going for. And as I mentioned earlier, he is reported to have been flying to Detroit earlier today. The hope was he would be with the team in time for first pitch. It's not in the lineup today. We'll come to the lineup in a moment, or at least not in the starting lineup. But there is hope he will be back with the team. And hopefully when we're watching the game against the Tigers today, you will see some wonderful pictures of him with a great big smile on his face. And I'm sure all the other A's players will have a great big smile on their face as he's there in the dugout with the team, back where he belongs, back in the green and gold. Now, we shouldn't overlook Austin Allen in all of this because Austin Allen has also been called up. So let's have a quick look at his numbers. These are his numbers from AAA. So 277 at-bats, 89 hits along the way, 20 home runs, so he's been sticking the ball out of the ballpark as well, 321 average, 356 on base. And reading the comments, I know Melissa Lockhart, who covers minor leaguers for the A's and Giants at The Athletic, made a point to note that Austin Allen has really worked hard on his defense behind the plate. That's always been a slight knock against Austin Allen, even when he was back with the Padres and their farm system. Everyone thought he would be able to hit some home runs and contribute with the bat. The question was, would he really stick as a catcher? And he looked a bit shaky when he was with the A's last year, but by all accounts, he's really worked hard on his catching defense. And we'll see what sort of opportunities he gets with the big league team. Obviously, we now have 3 catchers on our books in Sean Murphy, Yan Gomes, and AA, Austin Allen. The one thing Austin Allen has in his favour is that he's a left-handed bat. The A's are always looking for left-handed bats to complement Matty O. So we now have, let me think, Austin Allen as a left-handed bat. We have Matt Olson as a left-handed bat. We have Tony Kemp as a left-handed bat. And then we have switch hitters in Jed and Sky Bolt, who is on the roster. And I know there are off-the-field reasons why many A's fans are not very, shall we say, well-disposed towards Sky Bolt. But when we put those to one side, it's no surprise he's been called up at this point when the roster's expanded to 28 players, because he is someone who can play good centre field. So he's very athletic out there in the outfield, which is very helpful. He's also someone who's got good pace on the base pad. So he's someone you can bring in as a pinch runner, as and when you need it. And we've seen that. It's been a bit of an issue for the A's offense for a little while, being able to manufacture runs and being able to get that extra run across the board, the insurance run, take opportunities as they arise. And maybe having someone like Sky Bolt on the bench with the expanded rosters, you can bring him in. Someone gets on first base, you can bring him in, and then he can try and steal a bag. We've seen how Starling Marte has really made a big difference with the team in terms of his running. And you have other guys on the roster who can do that too, Josh Harrison, Tony Kemp. So maybe that's the role Sky Bolt will play. I do feel, again, putting aside the off-the-field stuff, he can play a role in expanded rosters as we have now. So that's Sky Bolt. But yeah, that's the roster. I was just looking through the details now. So in terms of the outfield, you've got Canna, Marte, Pinder. Made a great catch yesterday, didn't he? In second inning, full Superman job out there in right field by Chad Pinder. And Sky Bolt, he's out there in the outfield. Of course, Tony Kemp can play outfield too, as can Josh Harrison. So we've got a bit of flexibility there. Then the infield, you've got Oli at first base. I think Austin Allen has played a couple of games in the majors at first base. I don't think he's amazing there, but perhaps could play there in a pinch. Although Mark Canna can play there too, can't he? So maybe that's the way you'd go if you needed to give Oli a day off from fielding. But you then got Josh Harrison, Matt Chapman, Elvis Andrus, Jed, all can play the infield. Recently, Jed has mainly been a DH or mainly been playing at DH. So that will be impacted by KT coming up, but I'm sure they'll be able to manufacture a way to get enough at-bats for everyone, something Beaumont's really, really good at. And yeah, that looks like a good roster to me. It looks like a team that has some real power. And we have started to see a little bit of the team being able to manufacture runs a little bit more than they have in the past. And we're starting to see the wheel turning for a few players, not least Matt Chapman, who had really, I mean, we'd all been waiting for him to finally come good. We had the hip issue last year. The concern was that he'd had his surgery and he still wasn't really looking back to his best. But he has been over the past month or so. He's been smacking the ball all over the place. I think he's got 10 home runs in the last month or so. 2 yesterday, of course, against the Tigers. So he's been moved up into the cleanup spot. Again, we'll have a look at today's lineup in a moment, but fantastic stuff to have Chappie back firing. If we can get Mark Canna going again, that has been an issue of late. He's had to be moved down the batting lineup. So Josh Harrison leading off at the moment, but if Canna, but I know Bob Melvin has spoken about this, Canna starts getting his at-bats going again, he will move back to the leadoff spot, and that would be a big plus for the team if Mark Canna can get going again. With Josh Harrison, you've then got, say, Tony Kemp, who can be batting at 9 and turn the lineup over. So definite reasons to be optimistic with how the team is shaping up. We need the starting pitching to turn around again. Sean Manaea, more than anyone, will be glad to see the back of August. Hopefully the change of the calendar over to September will help Sean. But other than that, it's all looking pretty good, isn't it? And we can look forward to some excitement with KD on the team, and the team hopefully really making a push for the wild card and to get back into the playoffs. We'll have a quick look at today's game. So today's game, I say today's game as in Wednesday's game in Detroit. It starts at, I think it's 4:08 p.m. time in Oakland. So that makes for a midnight start time. So 8 minutes past midnight for us in the UK. And here is the starting lineup. So there we go. It's Josh Harrison leading off and playing second base with Starling Marte at centre field. Batting second. Batting third is first baseman Matt Olson. Batting fourth, up to the cleanup spot after his great 2 home run performance yesterday, is Matty Chapman. Ain't nobody like him. Jed Lowry is in at designated hitter today, batting fifth. Mark Canna replaces Chad Pinder in right field and bats sixth. Tony Kemp, TK Maxx is in left field today and batting seventh, with Sean Murphy behind the plate after Yan games caught yesterday, and Elvis Andrus, another player who we really would like to see get going again. He's had a slow month, as has Jed Lowry, so there's a couple of guys who we could really do with picking things up. But we know they've got the talent, we know they've got the ability, and again, maybe the magic of KD will spur everyone on. The man on the right there, starting pitcher today, never mind the bollocks, it's James Gaprellian. We need Cap to have a good start too, and we will be well set. So there we go. It's all very exciting having KD back in the green and gold. I'm very excited about it. I've got various messages popping up on my phone, people talking about KD. So yes, we're all very excited, and hopefully, as I mentioned earlier, we just keep our expectations on a level a little bit. Let's not expect him to hit home runs every night, but if we can get him back and firing and sticking some home runs over the fence, with him, you've then got the impact that Starling Marte, Josh Harrison, Yan Gomes have had. Hopefully we can find some sort of semblance of a plan for the bullpen. Andrew Chafin did very well recently in the 9th inning, so maybe that's alongside perhaps Sergio Romo is going to be the way we go in the short term. Of course, we want Lou Trevino to finally find his groove again, but it's all starting to shape up as far as I'm concerned, and what a story it would be if KD really, really properly comes back. We know he's now back with the team, but we want a real return for KD, a crushing return for Khris Davis, smacking home runs over the fence, and just would be an incredible turnaround from being designated for assignment by the Texas Rangers earlier this season, essentially being paid about $13 million to go away and not play for them anymore. He was there on the open market. No one else took a chance on him. He took the step of ringing the A's front office on the behest or with the encouragement of Matt Chapman to do so. He has worked his way through the Arizona camp, played extremely well with the Aviators in AAA, and now has got his chance. And every single one of us A's fans is absolutely delighted. So come on, KD. Let's get a win tonight after yesterday's 9-3 win over the Tigers. Let's try and get another win. We really need to go. I would say we at least need to go 4-2 this week, if not 5-1. With the 3 games in Detroit and 3 in Toronto, they're difficult games, but we're behind in the standings, so we have to be playing winning baseball. So at least 4-2 this week. We've got off to the best possible start with a win last night. But if we can back it up today and go for a sweep in the daytime baseball game tomorrow, which is, I think, 8 minutes past 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow, we will be well set. And maybe tomorrow will be the return of KD. And wouldn't that be perfect for us in the UK? Maybe not so much for people out there in Oakland. I think it's like a 10 minutes past 10 in the morning start time, if I remember correctly, Oakland time. But for us in the UK, it's 8 minutes past 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow. So that's on Thursday. And maybe that will be the return to the starting lineup of Khris Davis. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I've had various comments. Sorry, I haven't been able to get through to them all. But yes, it's just the excitement is too much. And we will be back with a live stream, I think, after tomorrow's game. So Thursday's game, as mentioned, is an early one. So we will be on probably about a quarter of an hour after the last pitch of that game. So keep an eye on our Twitter account, as always, at Oakland AUK for all the news and comments as we go through the game. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, as that way you will be notified when we go live with the live streams. Thanks a lot for watching again. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you very soon.